Welcome to Modi Briefing. The content of the briefing includes political neophyte Stefanos Kasselakis elected new leader of Greece's main opposition Syriza party. 1 year later, Italy's Meloni moves towards the middle. India had been riding a geopolitical high, but it comes to the UN with a mess on its hands. Uncertainty is killing us. Sikhs in India are in limbo amid Canada dispute. Inside the shadowy Indian intelligence agency at the heart of the Canada killing row. Political neophyte Stefanos Kasselakis elected new leader of Greece's main opposition Syriza party. Associated Press. Stefanos Kasselakis, a 35-year-old businessman with no prior political experience, has been elected as the leader of Greece's main opposition party, Syriza. Kasselakis defeated Efi Axioglu, a lawmaker and former labor minister, in a runoff contest. Kasselakis, who was unknown to the Greek public until recently, gained attention after releasing a viral video outlining his life and vision. Despite lacking experience as a lawmaker, Kasselakis plans to oppose Prime Minister Kyriakos Mitsotakis and focus on connecting with people through trips around the country and social media engagement. 1 year later, Italy's Meloni moves towards the middle. Deutsche Welle. Giorgia Meloni, Italy's first female prime minister, has increasingly adopted a moderate stance since taking office a year ago. Meloni, who leads the Brothers of Italy party, is part of a coalition government made up of 3 right-wing parties. Although she has not shied away from embracing conservative family values at home, she has toned down her rhetoric on the European stage and sought allies among EU leaders. Italy has been a major beneficiary of the EU's coronavirus recovery fund. Meloni also appears to be developing a relationship with European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen. Meloni has also sought to focus on North Africa as a means of reducing migration to Italy. She has called for a naval blockade of North African coasts, although this has not found support from von der Leyen. Despite criticism from some quarters, Meloni's approval ratings remain high in Italy. India had been riding a geopolitical high, but it comes to the UN with a mess on its hands. Associated Press. India's recent diplomatic spat with Canada has put a dent in its foreign policy triumphs, according to an op-ed in the Associated Press. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi hosted the Group of 20, G20, summit earlier this month, which saw the country make the African Union a permanent member and sign off on a final statement. However, Canadian leader Justin Trudeau's claim that India may have been involved in the killing of a Sikh Canadian citizen in June has led to a downward spiral in relations between the two countries. The allegations have thrown cold water on India's G20 achievements, said Happyman Jacob, founder of the New Delhi-based Council for Strategic and Defence Research. The op-ed adds that India's desire for a permanent seat on the United Nations Security Council has been hindered by the recent spat, and the question for Indian officials now is whether the crisis will damage its surging ties with the West. Uncertainty is killing us. Sikhs in India are in limbo amid Canada dispute. New York Times. A diplomatic crisis between Canada and India over the killing of a Sikh man in Canada has had a profound impact on the Sikh community in India. The Indian government has temporarily delayed visas to Canadian citizens, and citizens are now afraid to leave the country, fearing that flights may be cancelled. The Sikh community in India has a special relationship with Canada, and many migrate there for better education and job opportunities. One woman said that many young Punjabis dream of moving to Canada, and that it is like a motherland to them. The Sikh community in Canada is the largest Sikh population outside of India, and the share of Canada's Sikh population has more than doubled in 20 years. In Jalandhar, a city in Punjab, migration consultancies have become popular, with concrete buildings housing their offices and signs bearing Canadian flags. Many young Sikhs have friends and relatives in Canada, making it even more appealing to them. The diplomatic crisis between Canada and India has raised concerns for the Sikh community in India, who fear for their futures and the future of the relationship between the two countries. Inside the shadowy Indian intelligence agency at the heart of the Canada killing row. Telegraph. The Research and Analysis Wing, RAW, India's intelligence agency, has been thrust into the spotlight following allegations by Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau that India assassinated Sikh separatist leader Hardeep Singh Nijjar on Canadian soil. RAW, which operates in a similar manner to the UK's MI6 or the US's CIA, was founded in 1968 following India's perceived failure to predict the 1962 border war with China and the 1965 invasion of Pakistan in Kashmir. The agency has a reputation for political action and influence but not assassinations, with some former officials suggesting that RAW should copy Israel's Mossad. The Indian wing is instead known for its soft approach and use of money and influence as tools. The agency has focused primarily on Pakistan and China, but has also been accused of supporting militants in Sri Lanka and Balochistan, and gathering intelligence among Indian and Pakistani communities in the West. Following India's clashes with China in the Himalayas, Beijing has now become RA's main focus. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.